Today is Wednesday, September 18th. What to know about an unprecedented attack in the Middle East that caused hundreds of pagers to explode at the same time, injuring thousands of people. Also, the political battle over IVF and other fertility treatments is back in the spotlight here in the U.S. Plus, why music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has now been arrested and charged. The impact of the Fed's likely decision today to cut interest rates for the first time in years. And major changes are coming to Instagram that will limit how teenagers can use the app. Those stories and even more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. There's more concern now about a wider war in the Middle East after hundreds of handheld pagers exploded yesterday, pretty much at the same time, across Lebanon and parts of Syria, reportedly killing at least 11 people and injuring thousands more. They were apparently pagers used by Hezbollah operatives and were a key communication tool since the group's leader ordered them to stop using cell phones that could be tracked by Israeli intelligence. Hezbollah and the Lebanese government now blame Israel for this unprecedented attack, and Hezbollah threatened to retaliate. Israeli officials say they're aware this could lead to an escalation and are on high alert, but they haven't commented yet about Israel's possible role in the pager explosions. U.S. officials said they were not aware of the operation, had no part in it, and are still investigating. But the New York Times cites unnamed officials who said Israel was in fact responsible and had hid small amounts of explosive material in each device within a new batch of pagers that were made in Taiwan and imported into Lebanon recently. Hezbollah is designated as a terrorist group in the U.S. and, like Hamas, is backed by Iran. But Hezbollah is more powerful than Hamas and has grown into one of the world's best-armed non-state militias. This latest attack comes during rising tensions already on the Israel-Lebanon border, displacing tens of thousands of people on both sides of the border. Now it seems the violence between the two has expanded. To be continued. Former President Trump made his first public appearance since the apparent assassination attempt over the weekend. At an event in Flint, Michigan last night, he commended the Secret Service for its response and also said he needs more people working to protect him. As far as policies go, Trump made promises to restore automaking jobs to Michigan and claimed there would be zero manufacturing jobs if he loses the election. Earlier in the day, Vice President Kamala Harris was in Philadelphia for a rare extended interview with the National Association of Black Journalists, the same group Trump spoke to in July when he questioned Harris's racial identity. Harris talked about her plans to try and lower housing costs and denounced Trump's rhetoric about migrants in Springfield, Ohio, and other topics, saying words have meaning. But she said the two did briefly speak on the phone after the attempted assassination. Later this week, Trump heads to New York, Washington, D.C., and North Carolina. Harris has her own stops in Washington, as well as Michigan and Wisconsin in the coming days. Both candidates continue to concentrate on swing states that could ultimately decide the outcome of what's expected to be an extremely close election. Senate Republicans voted down a bill that would have protected access to fertility treatments and mandated insurance coverage for them. And it's the second time GOP lawmakers have blocked this type of bill, while all Democrats voted for it. But the GOP is now accusing Dems of just trying to score political points. Democrats held this vote, drawing attention to the issue after former President Trump has made a similar proposal, saying he would be the one to force insurance companies or the government to pay for treatments like IVF. So now Vice President Harris is responding, saying Republicans have again made clear they will not actually protect access to fertility treatments. But Republicans again are pushing back, saying it was all just show votes and this bill was too broad, adding that Republicans do support IVF and don't want to ban it. Earlier this year, Alabama's Supreme Court ruled that frozen embryos are considered people, and so some fertility clinics in the state had to pause IVF services. State lawmakers passed a new bill to protect them a couple weeks later, but access to fertility care has become a political issue ever since. The Federal Reserve is set to make its biggest decision in years today. It's widely expected to cut its key interest rate, but the question is, by how much? Will it be the more traditional quarter point or the more aggressive half point? The cut comes as inflation the past several months has gotten closer to the Fed's 2% goal, so they're finally ready to make it cheaper for consumers to borrow money. But cut too much too fast, and inflation could go back up. Don't cut enough fast enough, and the already cooling labor market could send the unemployment rate even higher, possibly even triggering a recession. So the central bank is trying to find a balance. Either way, the current rate is at its highest point in more than 2 decades. And if all goes as expected today, this will be the first interest rate cut in more than 4 years. So how does it ultimately impact your finances? The interest rates you pay on any credit card balances, as well as auto loan rates, are likely to fall after the Fed's decision today. Mortgage rates have already fallen in anticipation of a cut and might be somewhat impacted by today's action as well. On the flip side, savers may feel a bit disappointed since some high-yield savings accounts could see rates drop. No matter how big the Fed's interest rate cut is today, more cuts are expected before the end of the year. So stay tuned. We have more news for you still coming up, but first, a quick break for our sponsor. I've had good experiences and not so good experiences in doctor's offices. I've even switched doctors mid-pregnancy because I wasn't getting the care I felt I deserved. But of course, no matter how good a doctor is, I also need doctors who take my insurance, can get me in for an appointment in a reasonable amount of time, and are accessible based on where I live. And that's a lot to figure out. That's why I use a tool to make that search easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and who are highly rated by verified patients. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. Okay, now back to the news. Major changes are coming to Instagram, probably the biggest changes the social media platform has made in years, and it'll specifically impact teenagers. Starting this week, Instagram will turn all accounts of anyone under 18 private. That means only their followers who they must approve will be able to see their content. It also limits who can direct message them to those they're already connected with. Plus, parents will be able to see who their children have messaged recently and can view the topics of the posts that their kids interact with. And there's more. Instagram will pause all notifications from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. for teens to promote sleep. Younger teens cannot change these new settings, but those 16 and older can without their parents' permission. Regardless, teens probably won't like this. The head of Instagram says it'll hurt business, but help regain parent trust. Parents and lawmakers have complained for years now about how easy it is for kids to come across inappropriate content and for strangers to message almost anyone, including minors. Earlier this year, the U.S. Surgeon General even called for warnings to appear on social media apps, and Congress passed a law this summer to give kids more protection online. These new changes are expected to affect 100 million teen accounts around the world. Hip-hop icon Sean Diddy Combs is now in jail, facing serious charges for sex crimes that could land him in prison for life. Federal prosecutors say Combs was the leader of a crime ring that threatened and abused women and forced them to take drugs and perform sexual acts against their will. He was arrested this week and formally charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and more. Court documents accuse Combs of engaging in kidnapping, forced labor, arson, and bribery, all designed to control his victims. His arrest comes after years of allegations, lawsuits, and social media rumors accusing him of being a serial abuser. Combs pleaded not guilty yesterday. For now, a Manhattan judge denied him bail, but his lawyer emphasized his client's innocence and said he would fight to get Diddy out of jail. An appeal on the bail decision is set for today. The man who ran the all-you-can-watch movie ticket app, MoviePass, before it crashed and burned, has now pleaded guilty to fraud. Mitch Lowe started as CEO of MoviePass in 2016. The next year, Lowe announced a subscription plan that would let users see one movie a day, every day, in theaters for just $9.95 a month. Even at that time, critics thought the deal was too good to be true. But Lowe repeatedly claimed the plan was a sustainable business model, even though he knew the company was burning through cash. Eventually, MoviePass went bankrupt and shut down. Prosecutors charged Lowe with wire and securities fraud, saying he lied about the strategy to pump up the value of MoviePass's parent company, while investors lost millions. Now that he's admitted guilt, Lowe faces a $250,000 fine and up to 5 years in prison. But legal analysts say his plea deal to cooperate with authorities will likely get him a lighter sentence. Oh, and like a lot of things in the entertainment industry, MoviePass was rebooted in 2023. But this time, there are limits on how many movies you can see in theaters each month. The parent company of Snapchat, Snap, unveiled the latest version of its augmented reality glasses called Spectacles. It's the 5th generation, and like the last version, this one will be available only to developers who want to make apps on it for now. The company also announced it's partnering with ChatGPT's creator, OpenAI, to give developers tools so they can create AI features for the smart glasses. Although Snap's AR glasses could be sold to all consumers in the future. Both Snap and Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram's parent company, have tried to make waves in the hardware market. In fact, this comes just days before Meta's hardware event. All right, that's it for the main news today. So now it's time for Work Wednesday, when we break down one interesting career or work-related news story every Wednesday. But first, thanks to our sponsor. As a busy professional and parent, I need to feel and look both stylish and comfortable. I want to run around with my son without worry and also still feel like my put-together adult self. Honeylove has revolutionized everything from leggings and tanks to shapewear and bras to offer everything I need in my everyday essentials and beyond. For example, I choose to wear Honeylove's Legging 2.0 for so much of what I do. Work from home, run errands, work out, go to the park, you name it. And it's not just leggings. All of their items, from shapewear to bras, are designed to be comfortable, functional, and make you look and feel great. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras, shapewear, leggings, and tanks on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/newsworthy, to find your perfect fit. After your purchase, they ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. Okay, now back to Work Wednesday. So it seems Mondays are making a bit of a comeback. A survey by beverage company Bevy found that even as hybrid schedules have taken hold across the country, where workers only come into the office sometimes, Monday office attendance is at its highest level since 2019. More people are in the office on the first day of the corporate work week this year than last year, hitting 58% of their pre-pandemic levels. Mondays are still low on attendance compared to Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, though. Tuesdays are said to be the most popular day to return to the office. Though workers are more likely to come into the office on Mondays than on Fridays. The new survey comes as many companies are trying to find ways to bring employees back to in-office work more. Some companies like L'Oreal and Deutsche Bank now require workers to show up on Monday. And Amazon just announced this week it'll require employees to return to the office for all 5 days of the week starting next year, toughening their current 3-day mandate. That said, many companies have still embraced that hybrid lifestyle. A study back in June found a 3-day in-office schedule performs as well, if not better, than fully in-office work. So far this year, the average number of days workers spend in office is about 3 days, though that number is said to be slowly going up. All right, thank you so much for listening today. We will catch you up on more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.